Yeah. Okay. She wants to go for it. We want to present the book to them, but then she wants to invoke blessings.
Om Vakratunda Mahakarya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakara Su Sarvada.
Hare. And this is the first book that we are doing. Please go ahead and open the book.
Thank you.
Yes. If you want to open up a few pages and show, that's fine too.
Yes. Can I give it to you to show the right pages?
Sure.
You know where
No, all the, so one of the big things in this book is every dollar that comes in or dirham that comes from this goes to charity. So what we have done is I pledged about $75,000 to charity. I did about 3 launches in India and 1 in Toronto. We've donated about $4,800 already. So that is the book. So as many photographs as you can see, and that is literally the book.
I'm really looking forward to read this.
I hope.
Full of, yeah,
Yeah, read it.
very excited.
If you read it for 3 hours continuously, you're guaranteed to sleep. Because in fact, my cousin said that Ram, with the book, can you give 4 legs, then we can use it as a coffee table. Because of the weight that it takes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wishing you all the very best. Divine
Thank you so much.
work, so it will obviously do very well.
Yes. So what we did is, we've got the book. Please feel free. In the US, when I showed it to my American boss, he said, Ram, try before you buy. So please read it. You don't need to buy. But at least the passion that we have put in, we would love you to take it.
Yes.
So this book is available on Amazon in a Kindle version. I got into somebody who did not do a right job and priced it at $8. That was not the intent. So what we did is I just increased the price to $71 so that the Kindle version is available for anyone to see and you can download about 28 pages. The hard copy also is available on Amazon. What happens is when you buy through Amazon, I get about $24 because after deducting everything that comes in. So that 24 to go to charity is very less per book. I'm almost setting aside about $78 per book that goes to charity because that's the rest of it is the cost of the book. So 2,000 books we published, 70 more we did because we had to carry it to India. So which means on-demand publishing is available. UK is one place where it gets published from. It's called the Great British Book Club. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Somnath ji has come in at very, very minimum this great love of his time. Harish ji, come.
इनको दो
नहीं, आप
यार.
आओ ना.
And chief guest.
You are the hosting this.
Facilitator.
Thank you for hosting this. It's a nice divine afternoon with the what do you say?
Thank you
with
for
very
coming
beautiful
and
people.
making it special.
Thank you very much. And we wish you all the best from all of us.
Thank you.
Great success in what you are doing, and really so kind of you to having us here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can take it to the whole world.
Yes.
Thank you. Your blessings are required for a small, sweet.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, that's Prashad.
That's it. We just thought we should circulate and talk about
Yeah, please.
everything other than the book. Thank you all for coming in. I'm going to request Renu to do the prayer song.
गणेशाय नमः। गजानन भूतगणा गजा भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलसारभक्षकम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम्।
Thank you so much, Nevan. We've got a very small, close-knit group of our friends whom we invited specifically for just introducing the book and launching the book. Harish, I just invite you to say a few words and then we'll go on to the next part.
Okay, on a subject I know nothing about,
That is why you're coming.
except that we connected with Vayanti Malaji today. So she will
Yes.
probably meet him in July. And I can talk about him. Ram's been a friend for over 35 years, and there walks in another
Another
friend,
friend.
only 42 years. So yeah, Ram and me go back a long way to Bombay, the early 91 I came here, and then happened over a small chat in Bombay at a common friend's house. He comes and says, while we both are talking, that can I also come to Dubai? I said, give me your CV. Come here, and there's a vacancy, and there Ram comes. But we've been here all this time, and this man has gone all over the world. In that meanwhile, he's known them also from.
Yeah, you are lesser than me.
Yeah.
That's true.
You are the old man, sure. And of course, so he's basically like me, a chartered accountant, like few of us here, and he left this place quite early, meaning 96, 97. He went back to Bombay, did a few things, became finally an SAP consultant, and for the last 17, 18 years, he's in US now, blessed with 2 wonderful daughters, and happily settled there. And I don't know when he got this.
Of his
into-
house.
Yeah, so at the cost of, you can name your employer?
Yeah.
At the cost of productivity consulting, we have this big project which is done. But I have gone through excerpts of it, and it's amazingly deep research. He's been sharing his work as he's been doing, and it's mind-boggling that how he's managed to cover this area of things. Something that, we all go to temples, right? Hindu temples, and if you look at closely the temple walls and the paintings and the murals, I've always been astounded, that sometimes each wall is different from the other, and there will be thousands of them, but no 2 are similar. So even as a child now that I am talking, I recall going to Dirwara temple in Mount Abu, and if whether you look at the ceiling or you look at the walls, no 2 sculptures, sculpts are similar to each other. And then now that I went to the Abu Dhabi Bab's temple, it's again the same thing, right? You closely look at each of those pillars. One, they are so precise and so deeply and nicely etched. You can make out each figure from the smallest one at the entrance to the inside, but no 2 are similar. So this man has done this wonderful research. He keeps sending me all kinds of scientific theories beyond how these temples are made, from the Angkor Wat to the ones in down south, to how they connect to the ones in Indonesia, and how they are all aligned, So it's mind-boggling to think of what little that he's been sharing with me. So obviously there's a lot of curiosity to see what he's done, and so the floor is yours, sir.
Thanks. So first and foremost, thanks to each one of you for making time out of whatever you have been doing or planned for the day. I know Shalini and Yogi have been voluntold into this, like a few of my friends here.
They have no option.
So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Always,
Srinath ji,
always, yeah.
that is, so this dear friend, he works for the Dubai government. He got his invite today at 10 o'clock in the morning, and here he is. So that's the kind of friends we have got. A few of our nephews, and
Including
I met.
he also I called it.
Oh yeah, that's right. And this young lady Maya, she was sitting next to me by mistake in the flight from Muscat to Dubai, and here she is. So that's a kind of. Okay, so this book is primarily been a passion project, like Harish said, walking into temples. So Lata and I would go to the temples. She would go inside, I would stay outside. And when she's out, I would go in, so that God is not left alone. But our whole passion of this temple started about almost 7 years back. Big time. 2014, I lost my mother, and she just went like this. So that started my journey of Agama Shastras and trying to understand what happens during the 12 day. There is a Garuda Puran. Then I went down to somewhere when the sculptures related thing happened. I was in Satara at one of the temples, and that's the first place in Maharashtra we found Bharatanatyam related sculptures very much there. So there are 5 such temples. Interestingly, one is in Maharashtra. So Jai Maharashtra for that. And in Tamil Nadu, there are close to 47,000 monuments which are more than 1,000 years old.
No, I went, that's another.
And I have visited only 10 of them. And if you go to any temple in South India, you will find, like, if you look at Sharda Peetham, which is in Kashmir, and it's a place we want to do something much more than where it is and how it is today. All temples will have the 4 cardinal points that you go to. That's your north, east, west, south. Except in Tanjore, which is called the Brigadishwara temple, which was built by Rajaraja Chola in 1010. This temple is very important and significant because the revival of the dance started big time. And in fact, on the frescoes, the writings on the wall is literally writing into the wall, because that's in Tamil, it's called Kalvattu. And the way the whole particular thing is prescribed, there were 432 dasis for the Deva who basically were there in the temple. So their names, the village, their teachers, and the salaries paid to those individual Bharatanatyam dances already inscribed into the walls. And it's in a Grantha script which precedes Tamil. Till about the 19th century, Bharatanatyam used to be called Sadiratam. And the idea is, if this level of details have been there in 1010, and we had the privilege of going inside the Brigadishwara temple. So if you look at it, it's like 216 feet from the bottom to the Garbhagriha. And again, Rajaraja Chola is a big proponent of 369, which is what is Nikolai Tesla, which is what is Dhirubhai Ambani. So I'm actually doing another episode on that, but that's for a later time. So the Bharatanatyam thing, this is the only temple which is called the Deva Alaya. So which has got only one way in, one way out, which is also a fortress. They had the millennium, which was basically celebrated in 1010 to 2010, and inside the temple, 1,000 dancers along with Dr. Padma Subramaniam performed in 2010. The beauty of that particular place is the Mahashivratri which they hold in that temple can accommodate 150,000 people inside the temple premises. 150,000. So if a man has a vision to build so much for dance, the bare minimum I thought we should do is to write something which will go beyond it. So when I visited Tanjavur temple, that's where the first of the points of it is way too much to even consume, like what Harish was saying. Each pillar is different from the other. So that took my interest and passion a bit further. Then I went to Vruddhachalam, which is another temple. So 4 of the temples in South India have this exclusive parts of it. What you're seeing there, Nataraja, is actually a Chola bronze which was done in 1010. So what we did is, there is a lot of books available on Bharatanatyam. But we wanted to understand, is it just Bharatanatyam that we should be bothered about? Or then I broke it down into 4 themes in the book. The first theme is, where are we? Where did we come from? So that took me to Vedic astrology, astronomy, and I literally have written about 25 pages on that. And then I went into the concept of the Earth's precession, which basically is the tilt of the 23.5 degrees, and it takes a full circle of 19,172 years to come back to the same, which means it's pointing to a celestial north, which makes the North Star very different. Every 3,000 to 4,000 years, the North Star changes. So the first of it was traced back to Kurukshetra, which was 26,000 BC. I've covered that. Then as you go down to the latitudes, that point in time, Agastya was the North Star. And the North Star again is not just one star, it's a constellation. So as they moved down south, when it came to 13,000 BC, they were at the equatorial point. Then it came down to Chidambaram. That was about 6,900 BC. So there is a concept called the Nataraja iconography. So the Nataraja, as we see, is basically 4 different constellations that is being oriented. There is Orion the hunter, there is Mrigashirsha Nakshatra, and the lepus, which in Tamil would be called Muyalaka. So that is the one he's standing on, that's Muyalaka, and then this goes to the Mrigashirsha. So they found this component, and that's why Chidambaram is attributed to Nataraja. That's a constellation. So 6900 BC. So I've covered that part of it. So that's to say where we are.
Seems like yesterday.
Seems like yesterday. And then we basically wanted to cover some parts of the Bharatanatyam. So there is a good 16 chapters on learning the Bharatanatyam, right from the Namaskar, the Adavus, the parts of the Bhucharis and the Akashacharis and all of that covered for 16 chapters. The third theme I've covered is the tradition of the Guru Sishya Parampara. So the Guru Sishya Parampara means every student till they become a performer goes through whatever levels of training that the Guru believes they are ready to before they are introduced to the world as a performer. Once their Arangetram or the Ranga Pravesham happens, then the student becomes a performer and performs even with the Guru. So that tradition is one more which I have covered in this. The fourth one is the brilliant one, which basically, so there's a very dear friend of mine, she did a PhD in Bharatanatyam called Mohan, and she's based her whole theory on about 6 or 7 temples in South India. She said the dance imagery of South Indian temples. Bindu Shankar is the one, and that was her PhD topic. So she says when you go into any temple, it looks like the Garbhagriha and the Vimana is of the 7 chakras for the Kundalini awakening. And the Kundalini awakening is equivalent of what the yoga related postures which are there. When I was talking to Renu today, she was looking at the Hasta Mudras and really coming up with what those particular pieces were. Yoga possibly preceded Bharatanatyam. A lot of yoga is imbibed for Manmohan Ghosh's Natya Shastra part. And that was the part which basically was very intriguing. So she says it's basically more towards divinity, the whole part of whatever we call as in our individual respect of what we do. And that is the stage 4 of that. So we are actually doing a full-fledged course with one of our friends in North Carolina. It's called Dance, Divinity and Moksha. So that's the 4 themes in the book. There is one more big thing which I covered is, there is a very dear friend of mine called Arundhati. She has been working with the Kerala martial arts called Kalari. That's what Maya and I were speaking yesterday. And she has combined Kalari Payattu with Bharatanatyam to combine to form what is a fusion version of Bharatanatyam plus Kalba. So Kalba is the name she's given. So Kal for the Kalari and Ba for the Bharatanatyam. She's actually working with the Ministry of Culture to get a 3-stage certification courses. So that becomes the 9th form of dance. So I'm working with her to get some connection to the Ministry of Culture and see how that can be an introduction course, intermediate and final. And the beauty is she's based out of Kuwait. That's where I was for a few book launches that we did there. So that's the book. So what we want to do now is, I want to invite Harish and please come on. We want to
Before that, can you also add where these books has already got prescribed in some of the
Yeah, okay.
universities, but yeah.
So this is the 19th book launch we're doing for the last, since February 25th. So what we have been able to so far do is, this book is gone for being recognized in the Library of Congress in Washington DC. So this will go into the Performing Arts Division, which will be placed alongside Padma Subramanian's book. I did some major launches in Toronto, and for solidarity with Punjabis we'll call it Toronto. So there, what we ended up doing is, there is 1,400 students in Annamalai University, which has got a Toronto campus. So this book is the prescribed reading for anyone who's doing an MFA in Bharatanatyam and PhD in Bharatanatyam. This book is a small book. This monster is about 630 pages, 26 chapters, 108,000 words, 40 primary resources for research and 80 additional, 725 photographs, and only 3 kilos in weight. So that's the dimensions for anyone who wants to know. So, Renu.
And he's still working.
Yeah, later in the
HR, please note.
HR please note.
If it becomes 5 kilos, then don't say anything.
Yeah, so we are also
And God
developing.
willing, it will.
That's what. I know. So we are also releasing one more book later in the year, which is called the Handbook for Bharatanatyam, which we think we will launch for maybe 200 Bharatanatyam schools. So I'm working with about 6 Bharatanatyam schools. So there is an iPhone app we have launched, Android app we have launched. There is no such app available anywhere in any of the carriers or combinations. That would be launched by Vijay Dasmi, and anyone who wants to take a look at how it looks, it's on my phone as well. So happy to.
So one of the big exponents of Bharatanatyam, Vaidya Rahmanji, was here in this
Oh.
hall. Over 5-6 years ago, yeah. Somebody had invited her for some social, some NGO she runs. So she had come, yeah.
So far we have done 19 book launches, except 2 weekends till December. We have got an event.
Sorry. Kidhar hai aap?
By end of December, this book will be available in New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia,
ऊपर है आप, मैं तो नहीं।
Colombo, Candy, Jaffna,
अच्छा, मैं तो नहीं
India,
थी, इधर आ जा।
Middle East.
अरे,
US.
उधर ही खड़ा है।
So that's the life of this particular book. So we
Right,
just
right.
wait for Harish to come back, and we want to just bring in Renu. Renu, please come on stage.
Yeah, sure.
Somnath ji will get that part of what you brought in as
Yes,
well.
definitely.